A group of organizations that supports people with autism wants to turn awareness of the condition into action. Now, Autism Network Singapore is organizing a series of open houses for mainstream schools, employers and public agencies. The move comes in conjunction with World Autism Day. That's on Monday, Dawn.
Yeah, and joining us in the studio are Tan Tse Wee, Executive Director from Rainbow Centre, as well as Dr. Sim Zi Lin, a psychologist from the Autism Resource Centre. Ladies, thank you so much for coming into the studios. Dr. Sim, let's begin with you. This year's campaign theme, it's called Time to Act. Mm-hmm. Why this urgency?
So today in Singapore, there is greater awareness and understanding of autism, but there is also greater provisions for students over the years as well. But because children on the autism spectrum do become adults on the autism spectrum, so there really is a need to look at adult services in Singapore and look at the post-18 landscape for learning, living and working. So we really urgently need these services for the adults on the spectrum so that they can actually participate fully in society.
And just with you, Dr. Sim, are you seeing rising rates of diagnosis, and are there any theories behind why we're seeing those rates spike among people with autism?
Right. So I think across the world, we do see that there is a rising rate of people on the spectrum being diagnosed. So there are at least three different aspects to it. So number one, with greater awareness of autism, there is naturally going to bring about greater rates of people being diagnosed on the spectrum. But number two, I think it's also with the greater awareness, families are looking for early intervention services so that they can actually get the help that they need. And that's actually also an important driver for getting a diagnosis. And adults is also another one where they might be seeking a diagnosis so that they can actually get some closure, some confirmation, or to be able to get a better understanding of themselves. So those are some reasons why we might be looking at a greater rate of diagnosis of people on the spectrum today. Yeah.
So let's bring you into the conversation here. Rainbow Centre is actually holding a series of talks. You hold talks as well as talk about disability awareness and so on. You've also got tours on early intervention.
Yes, that's right.
Which is I'm curious about. A tour on early intervention and also special education. How were these developed, and what exactly do you anticipate visitors to take away from this type of a tour?
Right. We really want to open our gates, open our doors, and bring people from the public into our spaces to understand the work that we do, to understand our challenges as well. But more importantly, we want them to know how they can be a part of shaping and building a community that enables the meaningful participation of autistic people in our society. So we are hoping that with open houses, they can leave with ideas and also a commitment to act. And that action can be finding out more about autism, or signing up as volunteer befrienders, or even employer partners.
So is that reasoning, what you've just explained, sort of driving how you have chosen the target audiences? And you've selected schools, corporations, corporates, and as well as public agencies.
Yes.
Why these groups?
Well, because autistic people are in the midst of this group. 80% of children with special needs are in our mainstream schools, and 30% of persons with disabilities are in our workplaces in various industries. And so it's really important for us to work with the schools, with public agencies, and just people in public, because we have autistic people taking MRTs with us, taking public transport with us in the hawker centres, in malls and you know, in the parks. And we need to increase confidence and skills in supporting these people to thrive in our communities.
Dr. Sim, no matter when a diagnosis is made, not everybody is aware of the fact that autism lasts for a lifetime. It isn't something that is cured per se. So talk to us about the amount of support that individuals need over the various stages of their life.
Yeah, so that's a really good point. So over the years, there have been a lot of services and investment of resources into the early years. So there are great improvements in terms of our disability services for the young, like early intervention and education. But what we're finding is that a lot of our adults are facing a cliff effect when they leave school, and they find it very difficult to obtain services that actually meet the needs.
Effect means it just drops off.
It just drops off. The services just drop off. They are not able to find services that actually cater to their needs. So that's why it's really important that we have more services in the adult space. And because, like you said, autism is really for life. And so it's so important that we are making better planning, better allocation for resources and supports across the life stages.
And Dr. Sim, rather, more is one thing, but you also want quality, don't you think?
That's
you know,
right.
so the network has identified the need for quality standards and services of programs in the community. I'm wondering, how are we doing, Singapore doing, in terms of providing these quality services, particularly in the area of employment?
Right. So when it comes to employment, I think we can really say that over the recent years, Singapore has made great strides in terms of being able to build more inclusive workplaces. But really more does need to be done, uplifting the quality as well, so that we can actually tap on the strengths and abilities of people on the spectrum across the spectrum, so that they can actually find ways that they continue to be engaged in a community, whether it's for the people that are suitable for work or for people who may not be able to work for pay, but they should still have meaningful work engagement. So in Singapore, I think we really want to have more employers who are open and willing to really embrace and train our people on the spectrum. We want them to be able to redesign work, restructure some work processes to actually leverage the strengths of people on the spectrum. And also it's really important that they have co-workers who can provide a supportive working environment for them. Yeah, so what we've found is that when these people on the spectrum, they settle into their jobs and natural supports actually develop, they can become very valuable employees and really productive workers as well.
Yeah, support is so key, isn't it?
Yes.
So Rainbow Centre does so much good work. You know, you're doing the tours, you're doing the outreach, you're getting people to befriend and so on, and that's your hope. And among all of that, you've also got this Micro Business Academy as well. Tell us something about that.
Yeah, the Micro Business Academy was set up to support young persons with autism to set up small-scale home-based businesses. The majority of these young people are not able to access the employment support services at the moment because of their low level of skills or attention. So the ability of being engaged in work through MBA provides them with that possibility of financial independence, as well as contributes to their sense of self, dignity, worth, and just connects them socially to others in the community. In MBA, they are supported by their caregiver. But what's really interesting and exciting about MBA is that they are also supported by partners, and these are individuals or corporations who provide coaching skills for them in areas such as finance, accounting, branding, you know, to help them improve their businesses.
Right, all the essential skills.
Absolutely. Ladies, thank you so much for coming into the studio today. We've been speaking there with Tan Tzu Wee from the Rainbow Centre, as well as Dr. Sim Tzu Lin from the Autism Resource Centre.